All right.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh Elohim through his son Yahshua Messiah. I don't have much of my heart in mind, but it's been a lot going on lately, and I just asked Yahshua for the strength to to keep going and to keep strong in Him, because as we can see, things are wrapping up shortly, and we just gotta ask Joshua for the strength to continue on in this thing and continue in the faith. I heard this one guy talking about, I got no more faith in humanity, and I was like, good thing Joshua pulled me out of that.
Right.
Because that's a place where you don't want to be having faith in humanity, but you want to have faith in Joshua Messiah, because humanity will let you down. I don't know when humanity has ever I don't know when it was a good point in time to put faith in humanity, even on a negative standpoint. But that kind of stood out when he said that, after those people, some 58 people were massacred in Las Vegas. It was very terrible. But we should be thankful that Yahshua the Messiah keeps us coming to this class to learn of Him, and to because it's a whole lot going on nowadays, and we just don't know when it's going to be our time, and when, so we come as often as we can, and if we can't make it, look at the classes online and things of that nature, and study of Yahshua, study of Yahweh Elohim, and truly He'll give you peace in your heart and mind, and that's what you need. You don't want to be in chaos, because it ain't gonna help you. It ain't gonna do nothing. It ain't gonna do no good for you. You know. And that's why I'm really thankful that, because I don't know honestly what my mind state would have been like if all of this stuff would be happening and I didn't have Yahshua to lead me and guide me. I don't know. You know, I couldn't tell you what I would be thinking about. You know, He is the teacher and He is the comforter. Can we get that over there, John? He had to bring us out of darkness in our heart and mind first, you know. Take us out of that spiritual and psychological chaos and confusion so that we could learn of them as the children of Israel had to come out of Egypt and to receive His law. And, you know, we say it, but it's just way deeper than words. It's just way more impactful than words, you know, because Yahshua is truly working with us and He's truly working in us. Can I get that scripture read?
The comforter?
We're talking about for the comforter, which is the Holy Spirit.
John 14:26. But the comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, He shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you.
Right.
Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled,
right.
Neither let it be afraid.
Right. Let's get the scripture to the law and to the testimony. Isaiah 8:20, because if He's teaching, He's not teaching of the world. You see, He's teaching concerning Yahweh Elohim's purpose, pattern, and plan. And these things are concerning Him. You see, He's teaching according to the law and the prophets. So we get that scripture.
Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
Right. If they don't speak not according to this word, you see, or this word, Yahweh Elohim, it is because there is no light in them. Let's get over there in Hebrews, as it says, in sundry times and diverse manners, men spake as they were moved by the Spirit. You see.
This is Hebrews 1:1. Yahweh, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by His Son, whom He hath appointed heir of all things,
Right.
by whom also He made the world.
Right. So He's speaking and He's teaching us. Keep going, sorry.
Who being in the brightness of His glory and the express image of His person, and upholding all things by the word of His power,
Right.
when He had by Himself purged our sin, sat down on the right hand of the Majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels,
Right.
as He hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they.
And their name is Yahshua the Messiah. You see, that's an excellent name because that name means something. It means Yahweh's salvation, and that's truly what the soul of a man needs. You see, and you need that sometimes so physically as well. Not sometimes, but you need that physically as well. You know, salvation, and He shows us that He is salvation. You see, both naturally and physically. So you see, and spiritually. So you see, He shows us that He is salvation. You know. Just as He showed the children of Israel, you see, that Yahweh Elohim is salvation down here, because you had Joshua the son of Nun down there. The children of Israel, you see, they didn't just come down here on their own. They had to, it was by promise that Yahweh, by promise of Abraham. Let's get that over there in Genesis, either 17 or the 12th chapter.
Genesis started 12:1. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred,
Right.
and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee.
Right.
and I will make of thee a great nation.
Right.
And I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee.
Right.
And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
Right. And this is the blessing, you see, that Yahshua the Messiah, you see, that Yahweh Elohim, being pure spirit, would take on part, shape, and form, you see. He would create a creation, you see, and he would then save that, and he would then save that creation, or save the souls of men that's in that creation, you see. So Yahweh Elohim, you see, he is salvation, and we come to this class to find out that we don't, this is a unity. This is not a trinity. When we're in the world, we hear things like Lord, God, and Jesus Christ. And I never knew what to make of Jesus Christ, but I knew people hollered it a lot. And then I chose myself to just stick with the Lord and God, you see. So that shows you right there, without being taught, that you can either make up your own concept, you can make your own theory, and you can make up your own opinion about things. But Yahshua has to take you up out of that and show you who he is, you see. And show you who he is and how he actually exists and how he's saving, you see, nowadays. Because if you look at things, you would think there is no salvation. You would think there is no justice. You would think there is none of that, you see. But it truly is. But it's coming down to that time where this thing is going to be wrapped up. So it's going to be pretty bad. Can we get Matthew the 24th chapter? We can get over there where it talks about.
You want 24:1?
I want to go further in. Yeah, I want to have wars and rumors of wars, yeah.
Okay, let's start at, I'll start at Matthew 24:5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many.
Many shall come in his name, saying, I am the anointed one, I am the chosen one, I am the one that you should listen to. They're all on TV. They ain't on TV. They right in your face, walking up and down the street, trying to get you to, believe in something. I am the one that you should listen to. That's what they want from you. You see, they want your attention. You see, but that ain't nothing but their satanic spirits. Spirits in those bodies. You see, they have to have they have to be worshipped. They have to be looked at. You see, so they want you to listen to him, listen to them. Because if Yahshua got something to say, then you got to better believe that those demonic spirits, you better believe that they got something to say too. That they want you to listen to them as well. It says that they were transformed. You see, can we get that in Corinthians? No marvel that save himself, but become we can hold Matthews and get that over there first. No marvel. Let's get that. See, so we got to be careful about the words that's being spoken down here on this earth plane, because all the words ain't the words of Yahshua the Messiah. It says, try the spirit. You see if they be of Yahshua the Messiah. Any spirit that does not that cannot, I'm messing it up, but just cannot confess that Yahshua is the Holy Spirit. You see, it's not of Yahweh Elohim. You see. Can we get those scriptures?
2 Corinthians 4, and I started 13. And such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostle of the Messiah.
Right.
And no marvel, for Satan transformeth himself into an angel of light.
Right. And this right here is a pretty powerful thing. He's dunking people in water. It says cardinal ordinances restored, you see. And we know that Yahshua the Messiah, you see, he come to fulfill those cardinal laws and ordinances and things of that nature. But guess what they got to do? Because he's the beast man of sin and perdition, he's got to drag it on over from one age to another. And this is how mankind is being deceived, you see. You see, because he can't come to a realization of who Yahweh Elohim is and what Yahshua's mission was, because guess what? They got somebody down here telling them that he didn't come to fulfill. You see, he came to institute, and you got stuff that you got to do. And while you at it, you better pay me too. So, you know, see, works. You see, works. That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to work, outward adornments, things of that nature. But that just shows you, you know, he's in chains of darkness. He wants you to be in them chains of darkness as well. He definitely don't want to let you go. Just as Pharaoh did not want to let the children of Israel go. That wasn't even on his own accord. Yahweh Elohim said, I will harden his heart. You see, so you know the hearts down here now is going to be hardened. You know, people speak of that massacre as if it was just nothing. Oh, you know, we want to look into the psychological, the psyche of this man. You think there's something wrong with him? The average everyday person can just get up and get a gun and shoot somebody. That don't mean they got some type of psychological problem. They just want to get up and do something. You see? I'm not saying they're doing it on their own, because this is a school and this is a teaching, and we do have to understand that there is a satanic spirit, you know, and this is and that satanic spirit can work in a man, you see. And that's what we have to, that's what the world needs to come to realize, is that there is good and there is evil, you see. You know, it ain't got nothing to do with the psyche of a person, you see what I'm saying? You just got to know what's in that person, you know, and that's something that you just can't tell. You just don't, well, you can't say that. You see. That's another thing we learned, you see. You can know the fruit, the tree by the fruits that it bears. And if that tree ain't, you see, bearing fruits of the spirit, you see.
Is your mic on?
Yes, this ain't talking about. Yeah, not bearing the fruits of the spirit, then we pretty much know what to expect, which means that you don't know what to expect. That person is not, you know, because you know that Yahshua wouldn't lead a son in his age to do something like that. Okay? But we know this thing is being wrapped up. Ain't no point in being attached to it. Ain't no point in going out and killing folks, because everything is going to be burnt up anyway. No point in doing it. You see? And that's the reason why you need a comforter and a teacher. Because if you're not taught anything, you'll believe anything. You see? That's the ignorance that's going on nowadays in this world. You see, the ignorance of Yahweh Elohim. Don't even want to know that there is a creator, and that creator is pure spirit. You see? And that creator took on the shape and form. You see, right within himself. And that same creator created a creation, you see. And that same creator is able to save, you see. And that's powerful. He is the source and substance of the thing, made it, and then stepped down right into the creation, you see. Just you know, I mean, to save your soul. You see, to show his purpose, pattern, and plan, because he does have one. This is not, you know, this ain't Ratan Ahmed where you start off, you know, with some kind of story and then it just ends with something. No, this is full circle right here. This is a purpose, pattern, and plan in operation now. You see, this is eternal. That means when this is done away with, you see, when this is done away with, you see, these ages and dispensations, you see, they're set up according to this pattern. You see, when this is done away with, there'll be a whole nother set of ages and things of that nature to come. You see, because Yahweh is eternal. You see, it overturns and it overturns. You can't say that about Ratan Ahmed and all these other gods that's down here. You can't say anything about that, about your concepts, theories, and opinions, because they all come to an end, and then you got nothing else to say after that. The world's coming to an end. Okay, what after that? We know we're going to be learning in the ages to come. We know that we know that we're going to be learning in the ages to come, and we know that there's a lot of people going to be in that lake of fire for eternity too. So we know by Yahshua the Messiah, we know the beginning, you see, we know the end, you see. I mean, we don't know it in totality, but he gives us glimpses of these things. You see, it's all on these charts. You see, he sets these things up according to a pattern. And that pattern, as stated in the moderation, consists of a most holy place, and a court round about. 3 compartments making up this one tabernacle pattern. There's steps in this chart, and there are vessels in this chart. And this priest, you see, he had to go according to the steps in this chart, as according to the law that Yahweh Elohim spoke down that spoke to Moses. You see, when he received this thing by vision and revelation. You see, and that's the one thing that people don't want to. Could we get that? Without prophetic vision, the people perish. Am I holding anything? I know I got Matthew the 24th chapter.
24th chapter.
And then did we finish that in Corinthians?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get that? Prophetic vision. Without a vision, we would not know anything about Yahweh Elohim. You see, it takes a divine, not a vision, because if this guy's duplicating, then you got to understand that people are having visions of all types of things. You know, you have dreams, and Hitler said he had a vision. You know, and that's the reason why he did what he did. You know, we're talking about a divine vision and revelation of the Creator, not of an angel. I forget who that was. I think what was it, John, who got to bow down to the angel? And he picked him up, and he was like, "Don't do that." You know, so we ain't bowing down to angels. You see, we bowing down to Yahweh Elohim, His Son Yahshua, through His Son Yahshua, the Messiah. You see, can we get that real?
See, Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Right.
But he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Right. There is no prophetic vision. You see, people perish. You see, perish how? You know, I mean, where if perish in your heart and mind, perish in your conscience, perish period. You see, if Yahweh Elohim doesn't show you something, you see, you can be walking into natural death as well. You see, but perishing in your heart and mind, you see, no soul salvation. You see. Without prophetic vision, without the vision, we would know nothing about Yahweh Elohim. We would know nothing about the days of creation. You see, they would know nothing about this. They wouldn't be able to get this tabernacle pattern because it came by divine vision and revelation. You see, we would know nothing. You see, this thing is this is a vision. You see, without the law and the prophets, you see, you don't know nothing. All of this nice stuff that we learned about God and all these morals that we get out the Bible, none of that stuff. All that stuff is gone. You see, without divine vision and revelation, you see, the people perish. All right. So we need divine vision, and we need divine revelation. Not just a vision, but revelation as to what the vision means as well. You see, and that's what we come to the school for. That's what we have our hopes in receiving the Holy Spirit for, to not only reveal things to us, but so that we can have a divine revelation, so that we might have a relationship with our Heavenly Father. You see, because that is the saving of the soul right there. He said, "He who keepeth the law, happy is he." Well, that law is Yahweh Elohim, and if He be in your heart and in your mind, happy is He for sure. You see, because if He's going to bring you peace, He's going to bring you joy and all that good stuff. See, He's going to teach you. You know, because He is a true Father. I'm not saying it's going to be happy and joy all the time, because you got to learn. You got to take you away from all the things that you've learned in Egypt in your heart and mind. Like I said, I just stuck with the Lord and the God, and I didn't do anything with the Jesus. You know, but He has to strip you away from all of that stuff. You see, and sometimes we're a little hard-headed, so He got to, you know. He got to do what He has to do as a parent, as a true parent, you know. And He got to show us, you know. And I've been shown on a number of occasions things that I had to get rid of, you know, in order to be able to, you know, so to speak, elevate, you know, from one state of condition to another, you know. You had to get rid of that stuff. The children of Israel, when they came out of here, you know, they had all these gods and things of that nature down there, you see, and we can see one of them right here. You see, when Moses was up there in that mount the second time, and he was receiving the vision of the creation, the children of Israel were down here while he was receiving the the law and receiving the tabernacle pattern, you see, they were building, they had their own idol built up down here, something that they experienced all the way down there in Egypt, you see, and that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to come up out of chaos and confusion just to go right back to the very thing that we were drawn away from, knowing full well that none of our concepts, theories, and opinions saved us from anything in our hearts and minds, you see, anything. You see, while he's up here, seeing this divine vision and revelation, you see, you know, he said, look, can we get that where it talks about there's sound like war in the camp or something like that. And he's still holding the 24th chapter of Matthew.
Mm-hmm. When he came down from the mountain.
When he came down from the mount, while he was in the mount,
Yeah.
and he was told by Joshua, it sounds like,
32.
Yeah.
it sounds like a
32, 33.
Yeah. It was the second trip?
32 or 33, I don't know what verse it is. Chapter.
that was the second trip.
Yeah.
This is Exodus 32 and 17. And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, there is a noise of war in the camp.
Wait a minute. He said that there's a noise of war in the camp, but we see on this chart, and as we knew what they were doing, they were partying down here. You see, they were partaking in something else, but to Yahweh Elohim, this is a noise of war. You see, because they are in direct violation, you see, of that law that was spoken down to them from the mount, that they would not create any idols or anything like that, you see. And to Yahweh, this is a noise of war, you see. And it says over there in Matthew, the 24th chapter, there will be wars and rumors of wars. And if you know that, you see, we can look at it physically, like, you know, we do have wars and rumors of wars down here, but also we got people doing the same thing that they were doing, you know, partying, you know, and things of that nature. And I don't mean just physically, I mean in their hearts and in people's minds, just going about believing just about anything that people say. And that is a noise of war, you see. And we can look at the Institute if we want to do that. You know, people are worshiping Dr. Kinley and things of that nature. And to Yahweh, that is a noise of war, you see. So there will be wars and rumors of wars. And we continue over in Exodus.
Okay. And he said, it is not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome. But the noise of them that sing do I hear.
Right. That's what he heard down there. He heard them partying and having a good old time with that idol. And so what he did was he saw what they were doing, because look, when he was up there in that mount, you know, he didn't know, he hadn't seen the transgression in the garden. So when he saw them doing that, he was infuriated. You see, he was upset, and he smashed that first set of stones, and you know, looking at it, he didn't have a place to put them because the ark had not been built yet. But see, these are all principles, you see. These are all principles. You know, you can look at it like that law being poured out, you see, into mankind. But Yahshua the Messiah hadn't come and fulfilled the law yet, you see. So there was nowhere to put these carnal laws and these laws and ordinances. They weren't going to be in a man's mind until the second trip that you know, he went up and took the stones up there, and by the finger of Elohim wrote that law on there. You see, right in, he would place them into that Ark of the Covenant. You see, that second trip, you see, which shows that Yahshua the Messiah, you see, he being a true Ark of the Covenant and being with that law therein. You see, him being in you. You know, that's what you want. That's how that law is going to be in you. So he didn't see the transgression in the garden, you see, until he went up there that third trip. And that's when he saw the transgression in the garden. Okay. And because was looking at the paper, obviously. Yeah, I just was reading it night and then, and because that explains the 40 on this chart.
That's right.
And I had read it once before, but it's, you know, if you don't keep on reading these things, you'll forget them, you know, easily. So, with details, especially, the details are the most important thing, you know. So that's how we get the 40 in this chart, because he's receiving this vision and revelation of the creation. You see, Adam is at rest in the garden, you see, on the Sabbath, you see, and then he receives the 33 those 33 days that he was up in the mount. You see, he receives by divine vision and revelations the things that he was supposed to build as far as his tabernacle is concerned. He sees that, he breaks the table, he sees it with the children of Israel, comes up out of the mount, sees what the children of Israel have done, breaks the stones, and then he rears up some more stones and he brings them up here. But Yahweh Elohim wrote on those stones the law, and then he receives a recap, you see, of the divine vision and revelation. And then he sees, you see, those 7 days, and then he sees the transgression in the garden. Can we get the transgression in the garden? So those 33 days, you see, and those 7 days, you see, because when he sees the transgression in the garden, then Adam is inside the garden. Can we get that? And that 7 plus that 33 equals 40. You see, and that is the 40 that is shown on this chart right here. Principle of 40. And you still got a principle of blood, water, spirit, water, blood. Water, death, burial, resurrection. You look at it like that. Here we go.
On Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field that Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have Elohim said, You shall not eat of every tree in the garden?
Right.
And the woman said unto the serpent.
Now this is after Yahweh Elohim spoke that law to Adam. You see, Eve being in Adam. You see, she heard that law as well. So this is how she is able to recite it. You know, right back to Lucifer when he tells her what he's telling her now. See, this is a deceiver, and I didn't know what he was doing before coming to this class. I didn't know exactly what he was doing spiritually and psychologically. You see, he's lying to this woman. He is causing her death. You see, can keep going.
You may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die.
Right.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
Right.
For Elohim doth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil.
This is a war going on right here. This is there's a war in heaven. You see, there's a war going on right here, right now, because this man right here, this not man, but this angelic spirit right here that was cast out of heaven. You see, now he is doing the same thing, repeating the same thing. Why? Because everything goes according to the pattern, and this guy ain't no exception. So he's got to do the same thing what he did in heaven. He's got to have some people being drawn out of heaven as he's getting cast out. So he has to do the same thing here. You see, for Adam, you see, he has to willingly die for his bride because he's a type and shadow of Yahshua the Messiah. You see, he's the first, he's of the earth, and Yahshua is from heaven. You see, but he's an example. You see, and he was going to die for his bride. So Yahshua the Messiah, you see, guess what he has to do? He has to die for his bride. You see. Okay, so we can keep going.
Okay. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
Right.
And gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Right. And I read in another pamphlet, it was talking about how she was able to be deceived because she had come from Adam. You see, she didn't know that she was of the source and substance of Yahweh Elohim. You see. And that's how she was able to be deceived, you see, because Adam, you see, he come from the dust of earth, and Yahweh Elohim breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, you see. So this is how she was able to be deceived. I mean, it's in the purpose, because Yahweh Elohim said, the day that you eat thereof, you shall die. See, I'll let you know that that thing was already going to happen, you see. this is going according to a pattern. You see, this is not happening just because it ain't. You know, you want to talk about predestination. Well, that word there was predestined for sure. You know, keep reading.
And the eyes of them were both open, and they knew that they were naked.
Right. At that point in time, they were condemned in their heart and mind. You see. And that was the death. You see, shortly after he would die that physical death. But see, that was the death that happened to that soul. You see, that soul become condemned and cut off. You see, from his creator Yahweh Elohim, that peace that they were having in that garden. You see, that satanic spirit. You see, bringing that war. You see that that chaos and confusion all the way on down and causing them to be cast out. You see.
And they sewed fig leaves together and made aprons for themselves.
Right.
Made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Elohim, Yahweh Elohim, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden.
Right.
And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
Right.
And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest me.
Now you got to blame the woman. You see, I mean, that just shows you the Satan minds, you know, the condition of that soul. She did it. She the one that brought it to him. But right here, he was willing to die for his bride. You see, something changed. You know, it was in that soul, the conscience. You see, he was condemned. You see, when he was confronted by Yahweh Elohim, first thing he had to do was say, she did it. But they had broken the law, and he had to be cast out of the garden for that. See? And you know, from that, as it through that scripture in Adam, all died. Is that the 5th chapter of Romans? Should we get that? Because see, this is in Timothy. It also is going to say in childbearing. You see, so something has to happen. You see. And they have to perform what is necessary, you see, because now, you see, there's something, a promise going to happen there too. In childbearing, you see, you shall, you know, be saved, you see. And they need salvation because the soul died. That physical body would later die. They hadn't experienced that type of death yet. But that soul needs to be saved, you see. And this is how Yahshua did it, and through the seed, you see, and this is Yahweh Elohim still doing the same. He's not changing. You see, so this is why we can go all the way down to Abraham, and he tells Abraham through that seed, you see, all families of the earth shall be blessed because Yahweh Elohim did not forget his promise. He did not forget exactly what he was going to do.
That's right.
You see. This is in a whole other age. This is still going on. This is showing you see, these ages and things, they come and go, but the purpose of Yahweh is still going forward. You see.
Romans 5:12. Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, that all have sinned.
Death passed upon all men, you see. That nobody excluded on that one, you know. Death passed upon all men. So there is definitely a necessity and a need for soul salvation because death passed upon all men. So Yahshua Messiah, you see, he has to come in. You see, he has to die the death of an outcast dog, you see, being under this law, you see. And then he has to be buried, you see. He has to resurrect the 3rd day according to the scriptures, you see. And he has to pour out the Holy Spirit, you see. After he's resurrected, you see, he has to pour out the Holy Spirit, you see. And this is how you are saved, you see, because this is that lamb, you see, that is supposed to be in you, you see. Because all this stuff back here, you see, these are types and shadows, you see, of these are examples, you see, of what's supposed to be happening spiritually and psychologically, you see. And order for the children of Israel to come out of Egypt, they had to have a lamb. And that lamb had to be pierced in the side, and it had to be without spot and blemish. First of all, Yahshua the Messiah, see, he was without spot and blemish. He had to be pierced, that lamb had to be pierced in the side, and that blood had to be placed on the upper door post and 2 side posts, making a 4-point configuration. Same 4-point configuration on Yahshua the Messiah. You see, so in John the Baptist pointing Yahshua out, saying, "Behold the Lamb of Yahweh, who taketh away the sin of the world," pointing that, showing that he is the Lamb. You see, in that Lamb, you see, and when I say Lamb, you see, I'm not saying that you're supposed to go and chew on Yahshua the Messiah, and that's the way you're supposed to have the, you know, you're supposed to, you know, have the Lamb in you. Could we get John 6:63? It's really before that, because what he was talking about was he was with his disciples and he said, "Hey, eat of my flesh and drink of my blood." And they were like, "What? This is a hard saying." And that really is a hard saying, because without Yahshua, by divine vision and revelation, without him giving you a revelation exactly to what that means, you see, I was looking at that Bible too, like, yeah, that's kind of strange right there, you know. So can we get that where he talks about my flesh and drink my blood? It's a little bit, it's not 663, but it's
A little bit before that.
yeah, before that.
Okay, I think it's 6:54.
Yes.
John 6:54. Whosoever eat my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life,
Right.
and I will raise him up at the last day.
Right.
Wait, let me go to 53. 6:53.
Mhm.
Okay. 6:53. Then Yahshua said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat my flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you.
Right.
And whosoever eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
Right.
For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed.
Right. Now,
Can you keep going?
yeah, because we need to go to 63. Because now he said that now the disciples walked away because it said that's a hard saying, you see. But we know, you see, that Yahshua spake in the spirit. And he wasn't talking about taking up his physical blood and taking up his physical body, you see. Let's go get over there to 63.
You didn't just jump to 63?
Yeah.
Okay, 63. It is the spirit that quicketh, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
The words, you said they are spirit, you see, and they are life, you see. And it is by the preaching of the gospel, you see, that we are grafted into this thing, you see. And Yahshua the Messiah, he will fill you with his spirit, you see, if you receive this gospel. As Paul said, you see, this is he's going to give you the same thing that he received, and this is also the thing in which he stands in. You see, so we have to not only receive this and believe it, but we have to stand in this. Could we get that? 1 Corinthians 15. He says that the words, you see, they are spirit and they are life. You see, and when he says, "Take up my flesh," you see, and drink up my blood, you see, that is pointing up to a spiritual principle. You see, that you have to have Yahshua the Messiah in you. You see, because the life is in the blood. You see, as it stated in the law, that life is in the blood. Well, we know that Yahshua the Messiah, he is the life. You see, and he says, "Now eat of my flesh," and we know that Yahshua the Messiah, he is the substance. You see, because that's what that bread is. You see, or that flesh is. Flesh is to be likened to, substance. He is that substance. You see, and we look down here, they had to have that lamb in them. So you have to have that lamb in you. That lamb was without spot and without blemish. It has to be in you in order for you to come out of spiritual and psychological darkness. You see. Can I ask you something?
1 Corinthians 15 chapter.
1 Corinthians 15 chapter says that this is important. This is by which we are saved as Gentiles, not being under the law. You see, this is how we are to be saved. You see, by the preaching of the gospel, which is the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Yahshua the Messiah.
I think you're still holding Matthew 24.
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 15 and 1?
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 15 and 1. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel, which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand.
So it says that he's giving you the same thing that he received, you see, and that's, now look, he's giving us the same thing that he received, which is things that pertain to Yahshua the Messiah and the law and the prophets. So that means that didn't change. Dr. Kinley, he received a divine vision and revelation and gives us the same thing that he received, which is the same thing that the Apostle Paul received, same thing that John received, you see. Same thing the prophets, you see, they receive, you see. And then all of a sudden we come down here and then somebody says, oh, that's not how the way it is. No, we're going to go by the pattern.
Yes.
You see that Yahshua says, he said, Yahweh Elohim said, I'm Yahweh and I change not. That means that this is going to be the same thing. Keep reading.
By the which also ye are saved, if you keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless you have believed in vain.
Right.
For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that the Messiah died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures, and that he was seen of Cephas, then of the 12.
That's good right there. And this is the gospel, the death, the burial, and resurrection of Yahshua the Messiah. And those words of the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Our next speaker this evening is a pleasure called Dr. Deborah Williams. My next speaker this evening is a pleasure called Dr. Rose Taylor. Casey. My next speaker this evening is a pleasure called Dr. Casey Jones. All right.
All right. I'd like to give all honor to Yahweh Elohim, to his son Yahshua the Messiah. And today I was thankful he allowed me to be able to study, because I was able to go over some things in the antediluvian age. So I want to go to John 8:44. It's just it's a wonderful thing whenever you can get that quiet time to study, and Yahshua could just show you things, and you comforted, because it reassures you that all the stuff that's going on in the world, man, it's not just chaos. And like as the first speaker, I enjoyed the comments of the first speaker. As the first speaker said, this is by a pattern, and it's just carrying out, and it's going in, and we in the last age right now. It's definitely in those times of Noah where the wickedness, is just in the land, crazy. I mean, I watch the news all the time, and I heard about the shooting in Vegas, which was horrible, and demonic spirit, definitely. It just shows what's on man's carnal mind. It's just in chaos. But these things, as as the first speaker was saying, the devil is under complete control, and will see his end at the lake. And it's wrapping up close. His end is coming in close. So can we have John 8:44 read? This was in the antediluvian age that had studied we have, and this is taking place in the outer court. So, can we have John 8:44, 1 John 3:12, and Genesis 4:8 read?
Okay, John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
All right. So, I mean, you can see, and these things are playing out over and over again on the earth plane. And you're just seeing it turn over and over again. As the first speaker was saying, they were worshiping the golden calf. You have a lot of idolatry down here right now. And Yahweh has never been pleased with idolatry and worshiping of any idols. The idols get destroyed. So just as this golden calf was destroyed because they burnt this golden calf and grounded it into dust, and Yahweh made them drink of it as it was read earlier. So I mean, we don't bow down to no idols. But you can see that going on in the world today. So he's not pleased, and it's just a reflex as it's going on down here with these plagues that, just as we heard earlier, that I know I was speaking earlier and I heard about these frogs, and and that was a plague down here in Egypt. So you can see it even after those hurricanes, the seas were pulled back. This is wrapping up, man, and it's all, if you don't know, you need to get down here to class so you can learn something about Yahweh and Yahshua. Yahshua means Yahweh is salvation. So this is gospel is being preached, man, and I mean, you don't want to be you don't want your final resting place to be in a lake. So, I mean, you want to save your soul. I don't know anybody who wants to have their soul condemned. I ain't never met that. Met a person who said, "Oh, I want my soul to be condemned." Nobody wants that. But it's by grace and mercy that Yahshua Messiah teaches us anything in this class, because nobody came in here by some act that they did, or this was a beautiful gift that he gave us so we can learn something about him. Nobody got in here on something that they did. You get what I'm saying? So can we have 1 John 3:12, Brad?
1 John 3:12. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brothers were righteous.
All right, so now remember, this is taking place here in the outer court. And you can see that blood principle, because Cain slew his brother, and his blood cried out to Yahweh from Mother Earth, the ground. So you see that blood principle right there. And can we have Genesis 4:8 read?
This is Genesis 4:8. 4:8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Keep on reading.
Okay. And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Okay. Now, you can see that blood principle because we have an altar here in this outer court. And the first step is the gate, the second step is the altar, but it had 4 points of blood on it. And it's 4 points of blood symbolize the white man, the black man, the yellow man. Yahshua Messiah, these sacrifices that were put on here were a type for Yahshua the Messiah, who would be the atoning sacrifice for mankind. Through his blood do we all have salvation. Okay? So can we have Genesis 4:16 read? This is in the holy place.
Okay. 4:16.
And Jude 1:11 read.
And Yahweh said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Okay. So, and then can we have Jude 1:11 read?
Jude 1:11. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah.
All right. So, you see that, and can we have this Genesis 4:17? This is in the most holy place.
Okay, this is Genesis 4:17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. And continue.
Yeah, you can.
And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat
Okay. All right. Now, through my studies, it shows Enoch. I don't know if it's on here, but it should be. It shows Enoch sitting in over here. Shows Enoch, and I was instructed to go to the apostasy. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's go to Revelations 13:11. Revelations 17:5. It's over here.
Like 16. Right?
16.
Right. Quick wage. Yep.
All right. So you see him self-exalted.
Right.
You see him sitting here, self-exalted. You could think of it. You could see another person who's self-exalted, building himself his own throne.
Right.
All right. So let's go to Revelations 13:11. Revelation 17:5. This is an apostasy.
Revelation 13:11. And behold, another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. And then 17. Did you want 17? And
Yeah, 17:5.
Revelation 17:5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
And that's the Catholic Church. With that Pope sitting in the throne, building his own throne. You got people bowing down to him. I'm not lying. This camera's on. I'm not lying. You see the multitudes of people he got bowing down. And you ain't supposed to bow down to no man. Scripture tells you that. Yes, he was doing it anyway. Okay. We got, can we get Isaiah 56 and 3 through 12 read? This is in the holy place.
Isaiah 56, what through 12 or?
3 through 12.
Okay, Isaiah 56 and 3. Neither let the son of the stranger that have joined himself to Yahweh speak, saying, Yahweh have utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree. For thus said Yahweh unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbath, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place, and a name better than of sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also the sons of the strangers that join themselves to Yahweh to serve him and to love the name of Yahweh, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Sabbath from violating it, and taking hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, and my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people.
All right, and that's beautiful because there is no discrimination in it. You know, Yahweh is beautiful because He's always providing a way of escape. You know, providing comfort. You know, to this day through all of the chaos and craziness in the world, we can still find comfort and reassurance in these walls and Yahshua the Messiah, you know, because he doesn't reside in temples made with hands, you know. He resides in these physical bodies. These are the temples, these are the houses, you know. We look at the physical to reflect the spiritual. Can we have Revelations 13:4 read, and 2 Thessalonians 2:4-5, and Revelations 13:1. This is all taking place in the most holy place. And I also was reading about Daniel, and I read about the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, and he was scared. And that was great, because I had never read that chapter before, but we'll read it tonight. So go ahead. I mean, can you read those chapters I asked for?
You want 13:1 first or
13:4. This is in the most holy place.
Revelations 13:4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Can we have 2 Thessalonians 2:4-5 read?
Okay, this is 2 Thessalonians 2:4. Can I start at 3? Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there have come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called Yahweh, or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Keep
Okay.
going.
And now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked one be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
All right. That's beautiful. As you know, that's his end. He is going to be destroyed, the devil, for all of the madness that he's causing here on this earth plane. He will end his end in place, which is the lake. Can we have Revelations or Isaiah 14:12-13 read? You know, because I know from what I was reading and about the Daniel chart, Yahshua he's a stone cut out, and he is destroying all of the kingdoms of the earth. You know, so this was you might have to read that chapter because I don't want to mess it up. So, can you
Isaiah
read
13 and 14?
Yeah, Isaiah 14, 12, and 13.
Isaiah 14:12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Keep going. I will send above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High.
Which is he's a liar.
That's right.
I mean, a copycat. You know, can't be original. I don't, you know, I just dislike him. So, yeah, I mean, this is, I was reading, where was that? That was the Daniel, the 2nd chapter, and that was on Nebuchadnezzar and the Daniel chart. But Joshua destroyed all these kingdoms, you know. I mean, they setting up kingdoms and crushing them, you know. So I just say, you know, it's good to come down here and humble yourself before Yahweh and Yahshua, you know, because if you see what's going on in the world, you know, it's just, you don't want to, you want to be clothed in the sun. You know, you want to be clothed in Yahshua, you know. I mean, because he's providing that safety, you know, and protection. You know, when you might not even see it, you know what I'm saying? You never know, you know. So that's why I'm thankful, you know. He's a wonderful El, you know, providing safety. As the first speaker was saying, said they would be saved through childbearing, you know, and just like Noah and those 8 souls that got in his heart. But he always provides safety for his, you know. So just got to humble yourself, you know, and ask Yahshua. You know, I just try to come to him, you know, in a quiet place and just speak to him and ask him for understanding. Me and myself, I'm trying to understand things, you know, and you know, don't get so bogged down on the physical, you know. I mean, because it's temporary, you know. I mean, we just passing through, you know what I mean? So it's for you to get a knowledge of Yahweh Elohim before you take off the flesh, you know, and try to learn something of him while he might yet be found, because he's still operating. He ain't went nowhere, not as the Christian world, or have you believe that he's off above the moon and the stars somewhere. No, he's right down here right now. And right now he's pouring out his wrath. From what I've been seeing, I don't know what they've seen, but I know what I'm seeing. So, you know, out of the craziness, you know, you just got to really be thankful to Yahshua, because you could be anywhere else right now. You know, worshiping this, soon to meet your end because you was worshiping that, you know, but you ain't here learning about the true Elohim, you know, and trying to give him praise as opposed to, you know, yourself or anything else or whatever with these jobs. I've been fired before. I know not to put my stock on jobs.
That's
That's right.
So, you know, it's all temporary, you know. It's wonderful, you know, that we have Elohim and Yahshua, you know, and he's never left us, you know. He'll never leave you comfortless. If you go into him you know, and you need strength for whatever you need, you know, he provides it, you know. Might not be exactly maybe what you want. It has to go according to his will, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, pretty much that's, and we, oh yeah, I asked for the, what was that, the Daniel. I was speaking about Daniel because I read the second chapter of, Daniel. And it's talking about Nebuchadnezzar.
This is Daniel 2:1. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreams, and his sleep waked from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dream. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king of Syria, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said unto the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me, and if ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses be made a dunghill. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation? Wait, did I skip over? Okay, I skipped, I'm sorry. Daniel 2:6. But if you show the dream and the interpretation, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. Oh, did you want me to jump down at all?
Well, it's a pretty large, yeah, you can jump down if you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm going to go to Daniel.
I think
2:16, we're there. Okay. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king to give him time that he would show the interpretation. Then Daniel went to the house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire the mercies of Elohim of heaven concerning this secret. And Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the secret was revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And so, do you want to jump down where he goes from here?
Well, I mean, it's just beautiful now. That showed you Elohim revealing secrets, and he revealed it to Daniel. This is the revealer of secrets we're worshiping here. So anything that is gain, I'm thankful to Yahshua because, you know, he has the power to reveal secrets. He has the power to comfort you, the power to bring protection and safety. You know, he's just a wonderful help. So I'm just thankful for anything that I have learned. And I'm thankful that I could share it with the brethren. And if anybody gains something, all praise go to Yahweh Elohim.
Before our next speaker this evening, it's a pleasure to call Dr. Benjamin Williams.
Oh, sorry. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm glad to be here. Like the previous speaker said, you could be doing something else. And I speak for myself because I know I could be doing something else. But I'm just happy that Yahweh brought me down here. And I just want to give him all honor and praise and glory because he deserves it, especially during a time of chaos where you got people shooting up things, people, and hurricanes and earthquakes. All that stuff is about a pattern, and we teach in the school that nothing escapes the pattern. And the reason why it doesn't escape the pattern, because Yahweh is the pattern, and whatever He creates got to go according. It got to go according to Him, whether it's righteousness or unrighteousness. And like the previous speaker said about Satan, he goes by a pattern too, and he can't escape it. Not only that, he got the I can't help but to deceive you. He can't help himself. Dr. Kelly said this. He said the people say, well, the devil just ain't acting right today. he ain't acting right. Now, Dr. Kelly said, well, that's his job. He's supposed to do that. And that's what he does. He likes to aggravate us on a daily basis. The thing, but see, the mystery, the difference between you and the world, and I'm talking about IDMR, or for those that preaches the truth and abide by this teaching, the difference between you and the world, see, Satan don't got you. He got the world. And the reason why he got the world, because the world don't know nothing about Yahshua the Messiah or this tabernacle pattern. Give me that scripture when it says, if our evangelists be hid, it's hidden from them.
That's right.
Because we got to know who the God of this world is too. Let's get back to it. I think that's in Thessalonians. That Satan, that the devil is the God of this world. And that goes to go along with the Pope of Rome, because he is the God of this world, like Dr. Kelly talked about. And Dr. Kelly identified that beast man of sin, and he pointed it out to you and I. Now the question is, what are you going to do about it? Read. Anybody got it?
Yeah, we'll get it. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, one thing what the previous speaker was telling you about, somebody give me Matthew the 24th chapter where he was saying, when you see all these things, is it in that chapter where he's going to be revealed and then he coming with all his angels? Okay, give me that.
It's in 2 Corinthians 4:3.
Uh-huh.
But if our evangel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
Now, it's hid to them that is lost because of what?
In whom the deity of this world
the God of this world.
have blinded the minds of them which believe not.
Okay, now that's his job. His job, Yahweh said, look, Satan, go in there, deceive the whole world. Satan was like, okay, Captain, I'll go do it, and I'm going to do a damn good job at it too. So, but he succeeded because that's what Yahweh set it up for him to do. Now, this is the grace of Yahweh. This is his mercy. Look, this spirit state took on shape and form, and then it created a lesser form for him to operate in, and he became the salvation of the world. Or in other words, this is the sacrificial lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. Now, he came down to save you and I. And in reality sense, he didn't have to do that. If he wanted to, he could have just let all this stuff play on down, and everybody will be going to the lake now. He came down because he saw fit to save you. Not only that, it says he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So that means if he loved the world, he got to save the world. Or in other words, he got to come down and save his bride. Just like Adam. He so loved that woman, he willing to disobey Yahweh and partake of their fruit. Now he's the degenerator and Yahshua is the regenerator. He came down to save you and I from the wrath to come. And that's what Paul was talking about. He's saving us from the wrath to come, because he already pointed a day that he will judge the whole world in righteousness through that man, Yahshua the Messiah, and the whole world gonna have to answer for the things done in this body. And people are trying to say in the universal revelation, well, Yahweh, you know, this is funny, because this was something that I would use too, but this is how it goes. It was just, you know, well, I already know you control everything, and you made me do all this stuff back in those days and stuff like that. But you know what's funny to Yahweh? He ain't gonna accept that.
Nope. Right.
He can't accept that. Not to say you got free will and the choices and stuff. Everybody make choices. You take showers, you go to work, switch clothes. Everybody make choices and stuff. But the real thing that you have to look at is that he's looking for his son's spirit in you. And that's what he's looking at from every last one of us on this earth plane. Not only in class, but it goes for the Roman Catholics, it goes for the Buddhists, the Hindus, and etc. with the Muslims. He's looking for his son's spirit in you. Now, if you do find yourself being in the holy place when he's universally be revealed, see, you're going to receive a glorified body. But when they find themselves being in the court roundabout, well, they just nothing but nakedness, they just naked.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Then you know the story. And it's sad, but you know, but you can't laugh at that, because it could be you. And there's a lot of things. I mean, stuff people could be laughing at stuff about. You know, Dr. Harris doing this, that, and other. You could be Dr. Harris, as far as y'all were concerned. He'll just say, Satan, get in there, and just take over that body, and I don't want that soul no more. And Satan like, okay, Yahweh, I take the body over, so I got me a soul right now, so he's mine. But for the rest of these people, you don't touch. I got them. That's how much power that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the source and substance of everything. And he got that power. Like you say, he got the power to create, he got the power to destroy, he got the power to save and resurrect. He got, all power was given unto Yahshua Messiah. Let's get that scripture. Now, all power was given unto him, both in heaven and on earth. And if you experience Yahweh for yourself, you know he's real. As soon as he talk to you, and start telling you things, you know he's real. See, he comes in thoughts. And when your thoughts tell you what to do in your consciousness, or your mind, or your heart, or in your soul, however you want to look at it, and whatever it tells you what to do, you need to obey that. And you know that's Yahweh, because he gives you an understanding of this teaching. See, it doesn't matter how much you read and stuff like that. It's what you learn while you're sitting down in these seats. This is the biggest test. Are you going to get some gospel when you sit down? Because reading ain't going to save you. Now, I'm not telling you to stop reading, because reading is good. Now, it's not going to save you. Neither reading the Elohim books is going to save you, or the Bible. It's just a tool for you. It's just like an ID. Just like I got an ID and it tells me about myself. Just like the Bible. The Bible is Yahshua's ID, and the Elohim books is too. But the real test where Yahweh will put you through is when you gonna come to class, or you gonna come to class and learn something by sitting in your seat, hearing him speaking from the floor while you exercise discernment to know something about this great teacher. Now, once you get an understanding, and the understanding is a priceless thing, very priceless. It's very priceless because he's giving you parts of his spirit. Once you get the knowledge of him, that's part of his spirit dispensing on you, just like what happened in the day of Pentecost. You see this burnt dove? is dispensing the spirit of Elohim in their hearts and mind. And then 7 years later, it did it to the Gentiles, and it's still going on to this day. You get your own personal Pentecost. Like he told me one time, he said, son, you got your own personal Pentecost. And I realized that. So I ain't worried about this stuff no more because I know he dwells in me. So, and it's just stuff that, you know, he teaches me to come to class and be obedient to this gospel. Keep what the founder has left you. And that's what it really boils down to, because without that, you'll go off and come up with your own doctrine. And people have done that with this teaching that Dr. Kelly received, because he saw it. Now, we get ours by measure. He didn't get his by measure. He got it all at once. And once you get yours by faith, that's what you're dealing with. Now, he said it like this: you better off than I am, because you get yours by faith and I got mine by divine vision and divine revelation. So in other words, just like Moses and John had to see the vision for themselves, Dr. Kelly had to see all of it panoramically, so that means from all angles. And he saw it from every viewpoint. And then he got the revelation about the days of creation, the migratory tract, from Adam on down to the last person born. He saw all that. He saw your life, my life. He saw it all. He knew when you was going to be born, when you was going to die. Now, this is just stuff that Yahweh have really showed that man something. And he did see this right here. When you see this, it changes your life. You just won't be the same no more. You can't be the same no more, because this is the reality of that, because he can show you that he's these attributes, and not only that, he's everything else. Yahweh is everything. He's you and I, the sun, moon, the stars, Fido in the backyard. Yahweh Elohim is everything. Name something that Yahweh Elohim isn't. You can't, because he's everything. So that means he's in full control of everything. And saying that's what I was going to try to use. And you know, when he was going to judge me at the end. And you know, because there's a mystery about people. We find excuses for everything, but with this one, there's no excuse for not knowing your Creator. There's no excuse for that. And I don't care who you are. Everybody should, just like in the beginning, when there was just two people in the garden, he talked to Adam, and Eve heard it, and then she bare offsprings. Now people knew when Noah told them what was about to rain, they knew who El Shaddai was, because that's all he was known by. He didn't know, nobody didn't know him as Yahweh until Moses had that experience at the burning bush. But everybody knew who El Shaddai was, and people did believe and help build this ark. But at the end, only 8 souls went in there. Now, this is funny. If the end be declared from the beginning, we preaching. Dr. Kennedy preached throughout the world. We got internet, and it's going throughout the world. And people reading books about Yahweh and Elohim and stuff, and about the tabernacle. They got books on this stuff. You do your own investigation now. They read all this stuff too, and people go do the same thing that Noah in Noah's time. They go say, yeah, God's name is Yahweh. But time goes past when that mystery of iniquity gets stronger, and once they start pulling people in these churches and mosques and temples and all this other stuff, they just gonna have to forsake it, and people ain't gonna be saved. Just like people didn't want to believe Noah back then about, you know, that it was gonna rain, you know, and he didn't worry about it. He knew it was going to rain because Yahweh showed it to him in a vision. Not only it was going to rain, but he showed him how to make this ark. And this ark is threefold. It's a lower deck, middle deck, and an upper deck. Now, one window, one door. Just like the tabernacle, you got the light will represent the window, the golden candlestick, and you got the door. One door, one light, 3 compartments, but one window and one door, or one door and one lampstand. Now, this is true. If Yahweh gonna do everything by the pattern, we gotta see that in operation. Somebody give me upon line, precept upon precept.
This is Isaiah 28:9.
Read.
Whom shall he teach knowledge?
Now, who shall he teach knowledge? He ain't gonna teach it to everybody, because everybody ain't interested.
And
Go ahead.
and whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Now, who shall he make to understand doctrine? Now, yeah, I would get on Dr. Kimberly, but that's another story in itself. But he made himself known to Doc, because Doc had that burning desire to know what was in those scriptures. But for us, it's the same thing. We got that burning desire to be with Yahweh. Yeah, we do. And we got a burning desire. I know I do. I speak for myself. I have a burning desire to know this gospel the way Dr. Kimberly left it. Now, I'm not trying to change what he did, or I'm not trying to add or take away. Like it says in Revelation, those who do that, he'll take from plagues to come upon you. So this teaching is nothing to be played with. Now, if you really realize that and see the importance of coming to class and being obedient to this gospel and Yahshua the Messiah, see, Yahweh will bless you. If you come to class and be obedient and listen with the ears to listen with, he'll bless you. Now, if you just come to class just to be coming because I don't want to go to the lake, but I could be at home watching the football stuff, you know, it's just, it's just stuff like that. Like he said, just come on to class, just like he told Israel. He told them to gather around that mountain. Now, this is funny. If Israel didn't gather around that mountain, there was going to be some problems. Just like if you don't want to come to class that day, it's going to be some problems. And you may not see it, but he'll plague you. And it's just stuff too. I skipped class several times, but he asked me, he told me, he said, why you didn't go to class? I just said, look, I had to be honest with him, and I had to tell him literally just, I'm sorry that I didn't go to class, but you know, I'll make sure that I get around the mountain. So, and it's a beautiful thing, but continue to read.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept.
Now, this is the truth. If you see a most holy place here, a holy place here in the court round about, then you got to see it with everything else that he created. That's why these charts is threefold, to show forth the unity of the spirit and the tabernacle pattern and the blood, water, spirit 40 and the death, burial, resurrection, and ascension. That's why Dr. Kelly made these charts threefold, so you can get a visual understanding about something that he saw in that day of eternity, or in that day of Yahweh. Read.
Precept upon precept.
Precept upon precept.
Line upon line.
Line upon line.
Line upon line.
Line upon line. In other words, if you look at this tabernacle, you got to see it the way it is. If you see a light right here in the holy place, which is the golden candlestick, then you should be able to see it in each chart all the way on down. All the way on down. Even when him resurrecting with the sons, there's a light there. He's that light. So that's the golden candlestick. And just like the sons, the Jews in 120 in the upper room received the gift of the Holy Spirit, you got to see that light there, and you see that dove and emanating that light, it's lighting up their hearts and minds. They got that golden candlestick lit up in them hearts. So in other words, there's nothing but love, and they experiencing this stuff. So if you see all these line upon lines, and precept upon precept. You got to see it in everything that he do, even with the good and even with the bad. And I read.
Line upon line, line upon line, here a little,
and there a little.
And there a little.
Uh-huh.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
Exactly. So then the reason why he chose the Jews to work with, because they was the least in numbers. Now, one thing about the Jews, he made a promise to a man named Abraham that he would bless all his seed. He would bless all the families through the earth and through his seed. Now, out of his seed came both Jew and Gentile. Now, this is what that blessing is. That blessing is nothing but Yahshua the Messiah. Now, without that true seed, Yahshua didn't come to basically save the righteous. He come to save the sinners. And he come to pick up man where they fell in the beginning, which is where Adam fell in his consciousness. He had an illuminated consciousness, and when he transgressed, his consciousness became condemned. So he basically had to pick a man up from where he fell from. And we fell hard. It says we all come short of the glory of Yahweh. Now, what do you mean by that? In other words, there was none righteous, no, not one. There was none. You couldn't find none righteous, even though Abraham had faith, and that was counted for him for righteousness, but that doesn't mean he was this righteousness. And that's righteousness. Now, since he found none, it was behold himself to come down and save us. Now, even with Israel, I'm going to deal with this golden calf. They built this golden calf. Now, the previous speaker said they ground that thing up and made them drink it. Why did Yahweh make them drink that? And it's just to go show that what was operating in them. They was a beast. So he made a beast out of them. You see what I'm saying? But he'll redeem, he'll pick them up. You see what I'm saying? To make sure that they offer up sacrifices for their sins. And plus, too, they have to look at a brazen golden snake, brass, not golden snake, was it brass or gold?
Brass.
Brass, okay, it's a school, I'm still, it's hard to be memorizing stuff because I have a problem memorizing scriptures and, and especially when you read something and you can't, it's a mystery. I'll be memorizing it, and then next week, no, it's just, but it's good though, because Yahweh is merciful. His thing is to save souls from the wrath to come, and that wrath can be felt, and you don't want to be people. We did about cursing and blessings. You don't want to be cursed like not Enoch. He was cursed too, but Cain. But Cain was cursed, and he put that mark on him, and he felt. I'm pretty sure he felt that torment, by seeing that stuff, that what he did was wrong and stuff like that. So this thing is beautiful once you really understand this thing, because once you take off the flesh, all the stuff that you had, like your kids and your job, your money, your car, your house, your husband, your wife, all this stuff, your friends, once you take off the flesh, you don't have none of that. Now, something got to be in you. Something literally got to be in you when you take off the flesh. And this is what Yahweh sees. When you take off the flesh, it better be Yahshua in you. Because if he sees Yahshua not in you, you just lost. And this is the reality of having Yahshua in you. You got to have a profound knowledge of the truth And let me get this straight. Let me get this straight with you guys. This is the truth. If you don't accept this gospel, and it goes for me too, and I know I accept it, but I'm just saying, even when Yahweh tests your faith, it's a mystery when he tests your faith, because you start to question about a lot of things, whether you believe in his teaching, and whether if he's there talking to you, and what if he's in you, and everything else. Everything possible will be thrown at you. Then not only he's testing your faith, you got Satan sitting there plaguing you, sitting here telling you, well, he departed from you, so now it's just me and you. So you know, it's just you know, this teaching is something, and it goes for everybody that's listening out there at their homes or their jobs or whatever. But if you don't accept this teaching, you just basically, it's just like Dr. Kelly, woe unto them what do you say? That have sucked on milk or something like that. I
Matthew
can't.
24.
Who gives suck in those days?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is. That's how it is, because you ain't learning nothing, and you gotta have gospel to operate in this existence. You gotta have some attributes. You gotta have this in you. You gotta have gospel. You get, the more gospel you get, the higher that you can appreciate this gospel. You gotta have gospel in you, just like food. If you don't eat food, everybody eats, and if you don't eat food, you can die. Just like the gospel. If you don't have gospel in you, you just dead psychologically and spiritually. So, and people don't see nothing wrong with it, and they'll fight you to and fro for something physical, and that's not worth wasting your soul over. And that's why we need to be thankful to Yahweh and his blessed son Yahshua Messiah, because without this gospel, we wouldn't have a chance. And it's, you know, and it's a good thing that we do come to class, because me personally, I like to hear everybody speak, but the main one I really want to hear speaking is Yahweh. And that's who I really want to see speaking. And some people have discernment and some people don't have discernment. But the mystery about me, I can relate to a whole lot of you guys preaching the gospel up in here. And I am not going to point the finger at certain people. But it's just, you know, it's a mystery that Yahweh do speak through a lot of you, and I can see that, and it's just stuff too that I get my gospel on, and I'm rejoicing, you know, and then the next time when I come to class, I still feel the same way. That peace will never depart from me, because he said, "Lo, I'm with you always." So that peace and that gospel, all that stuff will never depart from anybody. You may go through some bad days, just like, you know, you might go up all the way up to Canaan's land, but sooner or later you got to go back down to Egypt, and Yahweh put people back down to Egypt. And what's down here in Egypt? Death and confusion. And you also got that mystery of iniquity down there. So he got to test your faith, and once he tests your faith, you will have to endure these things. But you know, I'm happy, and I love every last one of y'all, and I really do. And you know, and I just me personally, when I'm on the floor, you know, hopefully Yahweh speak through me, and you know, and hopefully he give me some understanding about what I'm saying, and he keeps me coming back to class, because without the sun, you know, did you know with the S-U-N, if that sun wasn't in the sky, everybody would be dead.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like Yahshua the Messiah. Without the Pentecost, everybody would be dead. With the SON. So, hopefully y'all got something out of it, and I hope that, Yahshua will continue to bring all of us to Christ, and let it be Yahshua speaking. And I know we get excited that we got to tell our stories and stuff, but it's just, the important thing, because you never know when he's going to wrap this thing up. So just ask Yahshua, just say, Yahshua, just speak through me, and when I'm sitting in the seat, just give me an understanding. So with those few words, praise be to Yahweh Elohim Yahshua.
Hallelujah.
That will conclude class for this evening. A couple of announcements. Sundays from 12 to 2, and Mondays and Thursdays from 8 to 10, 4400 Frontage Road, Hillside, that's Western. And we all stand for doxology. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise Elohim, our Savior, through Yahshua the Messiah, our Sovereign, belong glory and majesty, dominion and power, both before all times, now and ever. Let us all say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.